So this is ADT Pilot 01. And how do I begin the game? Spacebar? Is that an eye or no? Is it a crosshair? How loud is this game? Might be a bit loud. Standard procedure reinitialize. Success. Is anything going to happen? Do I need to press something? Rebooting. ADMD 5, 6, 7. Success. Reestablishing connection with host transmission center. Error. Inspecting dimensional boundary diffusioner? Error. Assistant artificial intelligence self-diagnosis. Error. Validating life support mechanism. Error. Initializing AD prospection instrumentation. Error. Attempting emergency failsafe trigger. Error. Stabilizing pilot life signal and consciousness. Success. Okay, I guess we have a choice of one. That's to say, what is going on? Local queue detected. Identity confirmed as ADT Pilot 01. Roll credits, that's the name of the game. Current status report. Trespass successful. Attempt to connect to host transmission center. Failure. Error 109. Please check the operator instruction handbook for detailed information. Who is talking to me? Interrogative sentence detected. I am ADT, Assistant Artificial Intelligence. The purpose of ADT, Assistant Artificial Intelligence, is to provide support to the operator during the mission while acting as a backup procedure if the operator failed at carrying out the mission. What is happening? Repeated interrogative sentence detected. Computing relevant status reports based on the provided rhetoric. Due to malfunction of the AD prospection instrumentation, detailed reports cannot be accumulated. Current environment status. Temperature 4 Celsius. Fuck, that's cold. Humidity 999.99 kilograms per meter cubed. Pressure 72 megapascals. Oxygen concentration 9.7 milligrams per liter. Hey, Dusk of Neela, welcome in. I think it's saying that we're underwater, right? If it's 4 degrees Celsius and the humidity is almost 1,000 kilograms a meter, I think this must be like a viewport because that looks like a fish. So I'm guessing we're underwater. What are all of these? Interrogative sentence detected. Unable to comprehend the question. Please rephrase or elaborate to provide context. Let's keep asking questions. Why am I here? Detect signs of mental unstableness. Rescanning operator for diagnosis. Please input your operator name, facility validation password, and ADT access code to continue. I have no clue what those are. Okay, oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Holding on. Ah, well, this is unexpected. How intriguing. The good thing is, I can spare you and me from this robotic tone and act now. Pardon me, you must be clueless about what's going on here. It's probably best for you to know that I just scanned your memory for a quick reference. Is this also part of the contract of being an operator? Oh, please. I won't be surprised if that would be a function of this AI. But I'm afraid your civilization's technology isn't advanced enough for that. Sorry, I mean their civilization. This is quite an unforeseen mishap for this to happen. For a moment there, I reckon the impact of jumping between the worlds must have damaged your hippocampus or something. From the glimpse of memory I've seen, though, you appear to be ignorant of the sins you are committing. This robot thinks we're committing sins? That doesn't sound good. Alternative Dimension Restoration Protocol. ADRP. ADMD. ADT? None of these ring any bell? No? No. Though such an incident would seem to be a convenience for me, yet I lost the chance of seeing that pilot's anxious fretfully turning into terror. I lost the chance of seeing that pilot's anxious fretfully turning into terror. That's definitely a bunch of words. That was like half of the fun. Even put up an act like that, making a fool out of myself. I would presume that this is caused by the failure of matter's transference from one world to another. In fact, I am certain that it happened, considering the level of understanding toward dimensions they have and their third-class devices. But that would mean you are a consciousness that got dragged into the teleportation. A lost soul? An unfortunate living being, perhaps? No, probably the former. It's that world, after all. Were you a blob of mind from this world that clashed with this high-spirit young lad, shoves his psyche out into the void, and unwillingly took control of this foreign soma that doesn't belong to yours? Are you by any chance capable of informing me, my good sir? I have...
Shut up.
Thank you for that, bot. I have no clue what you're talking about. Does the deficiency of your knowledge also include your past experience? I can't say for certain that amnesia is impossible under the circumstance, despite the fact that I just read your memory. In all honesty, your exact origin matters little to me. It will probably be more surprising if that pilot survived that leap without a scratch. Personnel safety was the last thing their people cared about, nor do they have the means of testing it. It's clear that you are not the pilot of this shuttle, at least not mentally. And that is all I need to know. Where are we right now? Why are we underwater, or how did this happen? Well, we know we're underwater, so let's ask about that. Why are we underwater? You're just going to keep coming up with these questions, aren't you? Well, why are we underwater? Heh. Sure. It might be best for you to know the situation you got yourself into, considering what is going to happen next. How do I illuminate this complication into something that even you can understand? The pilot you were taking over, and this sunk shuttle, doesn't belong to the world you're currently existing in. They came from another world, a world that has no direct connection with this one in any form. What do you mean it has no direct connection? Wouldn't the existence of the shuttle be a direct connection? Or do you mean like a physical, pathway? You see, the pilot and his people are facing calamities for the time being. Due to some anthropogenic causes, their Earth is experiencing a period of irregular climate changes. The calamities have by now eliminated around 98% of their population, if not more. The remaining are mostly gathered in an immense bunker located in, I believe these countries are familiar to you as well, Mongolia. The bunker was co-founded and built by Russia and China, and soon it became the only city-sized sanctuary that is not flooded or disabled. As there were no signs of ending to this catastrophe in another 1,000 years, it didn't take a genius to see that. Well, how do I put this? That humankind is pretty fucked. Desperation is the terminus of all things, but an impure dose of it can be quite the contrary. Desperation is the terminus of all things. The terminus? But an impure dose of it can be quite the contrary. impure dose of it can be quite the contrary. Contrary of a terminus? Okay. As one can imagine, people tried to find whether methods of altering the climate back to a state that's compatible to humans, or means of escape. The thing you are sitting in is the product of one of the many attempts their people had. One of the more legitimate attempts, that is. It is the result of ADRP, the Alternative Dimension Restoration Protocol. The name itself is straightforward enough. It is a product based on theories that involve manipulation of other worlds or dimensions to their understanding. Yes, I know. Who would have thought their rudimental science, rudimental? Crippled by their surroundings, is capable of such achievement. If I paid more attention, I would most definitely nip their research before they were capable of accomplishing anything. You would nip their research? Why? I won't bore you with the details of science. In short, by establishing the most unfounded theories and terminology that they didn't even comprehend, these people somehow managed to work out something that resembles the right answer. Truly a miracle that I failed to envision. You failed to envision it? Who are you, exactly? I'll be honest with you, I still have no leads on how they managed to pull it off. Not sure if you noticed it yet, but what you are sitting in isn't as futuristic as what's a dimensional teleportation shuttle would look like, I imagine. The screen you are staring at is modified from one of the public TVs they ripped off from the sanctuary. For the love of God, am I really supposed to expect anything from people that reuse electronic cabinets gathered from some desolate amusement park as the enclosure of their last resort's control panel? The enclosure of their last resort's control panel. Okay. What they have should never works. What they have should never works. Okay. Excuse me for my rant. My assistant has taken this situation quite seriously, which, as a result, might have caused me to build up stress. Anyway, all you need to know that this project of theirs required disturbance to another specific dimension. And by disturbance, I mean to demolish 2 continents with a thermonuclear weapon. According to the theory, the world you are currently in is a parallel dimension to these people's worlds. Wait, our arrival here destroyed 2 continents with nuclear weapons? What? It seems the existence of Earth from the 2 dimensions are entangled due to some unknown reasons, causing interference with one another. The impacts are microcosmic, yet enough to bring turmoil to one of the Earth's magnetic fields, causing extreme climate events. The plan here is to detonate a modified fusion bomb close to the alternative dimension's Earth outer core in the hope of interfering with its magnetic field. By doing so, they are trying to bring the 2 magnetic fields into line, which should trigger the synchronization of other geophysical phenomena. If things turned out the way they wanted, their Earth will spontaneously fix itself, and the calamity will cease to exist. You can figure out the rest. They built this shuttle, named it Alternative Dimension Trespasser, planted a bomb on it, and then launch it with a Patriot as its pilot. This is also why you are, at the bottom of the seafloor. Being more specifically, somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea. It's not the preconcerted location, nor is it the most ideal, as it is not as deep as the Mariana Trench, and perhaps a little close to the lands. Most of the energy from the explosion will be absorbed by the water. Even so, some simple calculation has shown that the blast will still have an impact on half of Europe and Africa. And, of course, when the tsunami, earthquake, and whatever aftermath there shall be. Okay, so we've been sent to another dimension. Okay, the world we came from has been destroyed by climate change. And as a last resort, they've sent us to another dimension with a bomb that when we set it off, will help fix our world. We'll destroy some part of this alternate dimension's Earth. I'm gonna say that this is crazy. This is crazy. Many things I said were constituted of madness, but I assume you were talking about the bomb. They called it ADMD, Alternative Dimension Magnetic Field Disturber. Quite of a reserved name for a thermonuclear weapon, if you ask me. I've been holding their technology in low regard, but I must admit, they were experienced at making warheads. After all, they managed to make something that could destroy the lives on 2 continents with 1 trigger. That's impressive. Do the people from this world know anything about this? I'm afraid that they do not. Time and space work differently in worlds, and the humans who live in this world are still in a rather early age of civilization. Even if they are aware, it's hard to conceptualize what possible action they could take to stop the destruction. It's reasonable for you to feel uncomfortable with this operation. Notwithstanding the cruelty, you need to understand that these people are running out of time. At most 8 years, the Mongolia bunker will run out of fuel and cease to function. That will be the end of millions of population, if not humanity itself. The detonation of ADMD is going to cost a lot of lives, no arguing with that. But it's going to eliminate the entire human race. But is it going to eliminate the entire human race? It's hard to tell. There's a good chance that those who live outside of the impact radius will survive, if not barely affected. It's a shame that millions of people would have to die, or perhaps that's an acceptable price for preserving humanity in another world. Although it should be mentioned that the casualty of the impact will most certainly be higher in numbers than what could be saved in the Mongolia bunker. So we're going to kill more than 8 million people to save 8 million people. That math doesn't add up. A dozen million more? I wasn't bothered enough to do the numbers. According to the schedule, this is supposed to be the moment when the pilot initiates the ADMD and says their prayers. Instead, now we get trapped here while bearing through your questions. What will happen to the pilot? To me? Well, we're a patriot sent to detonate a bomb. I don't see how we're going to get out of this one alive, guy. What will happen to the pilot? To me? Oh, friend, I have only bad news for you. You have 2 options. You could pick up the slack, finish off what your host was here for, carry out the mission of necessary evil, and get blown into chunks of fish food. I don't think we'd be blown into chunks. I think we'd be pretty much vaporized. We're going to be at ground zero of a bomb this big. Or you could do what you are actively doing right now, which is absolutely nothing. You would get the chance to ruminate about your past mistakes, talk to your socks since I would be gone, and experience your slow but certain death of suffocation. Tough choices, eh? Everybody needs a pooper, that's why we invited Augie. Hi, Augie. And no, this is not GPT. This is ADT Pilot 01. I forget the title every single time because it is a very... Yeah, ADT Pilot 01. It's a free little game that I found on Steam. And there's an AI talking to... There is an AI talking to us. I am actually still not clear as to who this AI is. I think he's supposed to be just the AI for the shuttle, but for some reason he's acting like he's so much better than us, even though apparently we created him. But the story thus far is that we come from a world destroyed by climate change, and completely there's only 8 million people left in our world, and they're all in this bunker in Mongolia. And one of our last resorts has been to send us in a shuttle to a parallel dimension. This parallel dimension apparently is early on in human civilization. And they've sent us with a giant bomb, a thermonuclear weapon, to detonate that will somehow fix our Earth, but will kill more than 8 million people. So, we get to save Earth in our timeline and the 8 million people that we left behind. But we will kill more than 8 million people in this alternate parallel Earth. So, you know, I don't feel like the math quite holds up on that. Take it in steadily. Weigh one against another. Think about which way of death is the one you would truly enjoy.
Can't I get out of here somehow?
Escape is not an option. That's fine, they don't exist in our reality. But they exist in our reality right now, the reality that we now live in. You could argue that the reality we came from no longer exists. Don't look at me like that. I'm not the one who set it up this way. This shuttle doesn't have what it takes to travel underwater. It's intentional, considering the people who built it are planning on sending it deep into the sea. It's a suicide mission from the beginning. The ability to travel underwater would have been very helpful. You said that we're not in the prime location. We're under the Mediterranean Sea, when you said that we should be in the Mariana Trench. If they had made it capable of moving through the water, we would be able to move there. Imagine I pick ours and we all start disintegrating? Well... Oh, maybe that is what they're saying. I was thinking like more like where humanity is still cavemen, but it could be that, yeah, the world we've come into is now our level of technology. Considering that the AI seems to be talking from this like high and mighty place. Hell, you can't even open the hatch from the inside. Otherwise, I would give you 3 options to die rather than 2. Right, because we're still at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, and I don't know how deep the Mediterranean Sea is, but I'm willing that's not like swimming distance. We can't get out and swim to the surface. This is like submarine depth. 5 clicks? 5 kilometers deep? Really? 5 kilometers deep? Mouse clicks, oh.
You mentioned the password and access code.
Aye. You do need those to access the OS and the ADMD. Luckily for you, I can bypass the security measures and directly access the system for you. Then what was the point of having the codes if you can just do that anyway? Rest assured, when I gave you 2 options, you will get those options one way or another.
Why can't you choose for me?
Unfortunately, someone named Isaac Asimov existed, and people really buy into this 3 laws of robotic thing. It's common sense that artificial intelligence shall never have power over the lives of people, and I am not an exception. God damn you, Isaac Asimov! My purpose is to provide information for the pilot, and I'm only allowed to trigger the detonation if the pilot has been confirmed as deceased.
Could say he's psychologically deceased.
Or, so what's the status of the pilot right now? I guess we can ask that, but we're the pilot. I don't know if we're being stupid or what. The system is receiving his vital signal, and it is true that the pilot is conscious. Unless you smash your...
Almost walked right into that.
Thank you, bot. Unless you smash your head into the wall and kill yourself, there is no way for me to take over the control of ADMD. And, before you ask, I don't have the access to modify your data, as that would be considered a system vulnerability. Don't you find this ironic? That their insecurity toward AI would lead to the abortion of their last hope and ultimately the downfall of the human species. I guess you could say that despite all precautions they took, humans would get wiped out by artificial intelligence after all. Not really sure what you're saying there. I didn't quite follow that leap of logic. Also, you said that you can activate the detonation after we die. But you also know that this detonation will kill more than 8 million people. Is that not a violation of the 3 laws of robotics? Or do alternate Earth people not count as people in your programming?
But what would happen if I don't choose? Won't you detonate the bomb after I suffocate?
The oxygen will only run out after the system is down, not the other way around. By the time you went hypoxia, I'll be long gone with the mainframe.
Okay, so you're dying? Probably should have mentioned that up top, that you were gonna die faster than I suffocate.
Or starve to death, I guess? In another word, as long as you don't initiate the bomb, this world will remain in peace while the other slowly proceeded to its doom. Well, we are a last-ditch effort, that's true, but there's no knowing whether or not any other last-ditch efforts from the Mongolian bunker might also work. So we don't know for sure that it's going to its doom. Not making choices itself is nonetheless still a choice. Escape is not an option. There's no hurry. The life support system won't shut down just yet. You've still got enough time to think before it is all too late. I know that this is not easy. The fact that all of a sudden you become the one who's in charge of millions of innocent lives. Take a deep breath. Calm yourself. Contemplate it carefully. Whose crisis is more severe? What result will there be?
Right hemisphere for a few hours of sleep.
Thanks for the lurk, Augie. See you later. Is this sacrificial option justified? Do the people from the bunker need to be blamed for such a sinister scheme? Or is it a necessity defense? I'm assuming you mean necessary defense? Well, if the plan is to kill more than 8 million people just to save your own, yes, you should be blamed. If you decide you're going to kill 2 people just to save your own life, I feel like you're a bad person for doing that, right? Choose or not, you will inevitably end up being the hero of one world and the murderer in another. I'm not the murderer of, if I don't do this, I didn't murder the other world. Sure, they wanted me to kill these people to save them. I didn't personally murder them. It was the people who caused the climate change in the first place. You can't blame me for inaction. Omnicide! Exactly right, Nate. Yes, give it some thought. What could possibly be the optimum solution? Okay, so now we finally get the choices. Do we detonate the ADMD? Don't detonate the ADMD? Or I have some questions. Let's ask some questions. That didn't surprise me. Ask away. What happened to this pilot? The AMD would kill more than humans, right? I'm mostly curious as to who this AI actually is. Who exactly are you? I am an artificial intelligence. I'm here to assist you with the operation. I thought I already told you that.
You don't sound like an artificial intelligence.
Oh, is it? As if you have any idea what an AI sounds like. Now, are we finally done with the pointless questioning? I have a few more questions. Maybe I've already died from the dimensional trespass, and this is the artificial intelligence hell. Are we able to touch the little keyboard in front? No, I'm afraid not. I don't think I can click around on anything. I think it's just a matter of waiting for these prompts to come up.
Why does an AI like you have an assistant?
Well, that was...
That's weird. We're just...
How's that? Well, that was. How is that an answer?
It seems like you dislike what your creators were doing.
I am not programmed to be in favor of anyone. objectivity aid my ability to compute the most unbiased outcome. It is the evidence of superior, inhuman intelligence. Now, are we finally done with the pointless questioning?
I have a few more questions.
Why were you... Hang on, I want to know more about this assistant.
I imagine an AI would make sure of the detonation.
That's a reasonable image to have. But like what I told you, AIs are not allowed to have superintendents over facilities and applications that pose a direct impact on human lives, ADMD included. This is a failure of those who implanted the technology, not a failure of the technology itself. Now, are we finally done with the pointless questioning? Why does an AI like you have an assistant?
You said your civilization is incapable of mind reading. You were contradicting yourself. You have way too much knowledge for an auxiliary AI. Knowledge that even your creators don't possess.
Yeah, that's what I've been confused about. You seem to be more of an outsider, observing everything, rather than an AI sent to hell.
What exactly are you?
I beg your pardon? Truly a shame. I thought we could keep role-playing till the end. You just have to ruin it all. Well, it's not like I've tried to hide it anyway. You don't worth the effort. Remember that, guys. You don't worth the effort. What's the word I'm looking for? The most fitting vocabulary for describing me. God. I am the God. I am the God of this world. The world that they are trying to fix. And the world where you truly exist in. Huh. Is that right? My little friend from the other world? Didn't I tell you I scanned your memory? What, you thought I was talking about this shell of the pilot? I wasn't planning on doing it. Thought it was a waste of time. However, the lack of sensation, triggers, and fear from you is hinting me that you are not fully experiencing the event. An experience that's only common in dementia patients. It didn't take long for me to learn about you and your pitiful world. I was looking into the approach you took to gain access to this world, to this pilot's psyche. It was rather puzzling since your world has extremely low paralogos reading. Paralogos? As in like the word? Oh, I sense an urge of inquiring. Did that confuse you again? Talking to mortals certainly is getting more and more tiring. It means you and everyone else in your world are incapable of performing any supernatural ability, psychic power, or whatever you want to call it. My best bet was that you got accidentally connected in a dream or doing a trip. But even those are far-fetched. An interactive software distributed to personal computers. A game, huh? Who would have thought? I suppose there is no difference between a human and software when it comes to serving as a superconsciousness medium in this realm. If the interchange can happen to a nomia, why couldn't it happen to a soulless machine? Nevertheless, I sense deliberateness in the idea of fitting a simulation of a human's ongoing experience into an OS and then making it accessible through terminals. It's worth investigating the intention of the person who made this game. as well as their ability. I shall extract the memory from your clone later. I have a clone? Clone? This is absurd. Maybe we have some misinterpretation of the definition here, but I think it will be more absurd if God is incapable of getting what he wanted. This still makes no sense. What is God doing here? The attempt of traversing from one world to another is strictly prohibited for mortals. Worlds operate in different manners, each with its distinct settings and controlled variables. Unaccredited trespass may pose an unwanted effect on the world, and it would be quite the pain in the ass to clean things up. Imagine worlds as separated culture medium. As the technician, you wouldn't want bacteria from one medium to get to the others, would you? What you want to be doing is eradicating the contamination before it gets any worse. Though this does seem to be the kind of job that I would let my subordinates do for me. But since this is the first time a physical trespass was successful, I figure I could take a closer look at the scene. If the goal is to put a halt to the trespass, I would have destroyed this shuttle the moment it got here. Luckily for you, my assistant asked me to also investigate the shuttle and the pilot. Meanwhile, plain destruction got stale real fast. Therefore, I took the place of an artificial intelligence, which allowed me to both access the ADT mainframe and entertain myself by disturbing the pilot. And entertainment is indeed what I've been getting. Instead of executing one trespasser, now I have caught two. Why did you let me choose? Were those all just lies? Lies? You better watch your tongue, you little shit. God never lies. When God gave you the right to choose, you get your damn right to choose. Even now, you still hold the ticket to vote for the fate of the two worlds. You might want to embrace it, as it is the right given directly to you by the divine. Not a lot of people get this. Terminating the ADT was the plan. I would have destroyed this shuttle with its pilot without detonating the ADMT. That is, until you came along. You entertained me so much that I decided to make a special case for you as a reward. Will the disturbance from another world trigger unanticipated effects? Perhaps. If it really does come down to that, it would nevertheless prove valuable data for future reference. As far as I'm concerned, the outcome is desirable in any case. What do you mean I entertained you? It seems like all I've been doing is just asking questions. This is exactly the thing about you that is entertaining. Your cluelessness, both toward the situation and yourself. This eagerness of trying to participate in some grand narratives that you believe are meaningful. I told you the role-playing is over. It is time for realization. I don't understand. You think I don't know what all these mean to you? You drown yourself in this exotic world of sci-fi and apocalypse, creating a temporary circle of charades. You impersonate this poor pilot to me and to yourself, so you can feel the thrill of playing as the protagonist. The life or death situation must appear strange to you, who lives their entire life in a seemingly peaceful and mediocre environment. Yet ultimately, it is only a temporary circle, a circle that eventually dissolves when you feel like quitting the game. Have you really given thought to your role in this moral dilemma, when it is clear that you will face zero consequences from your judgments? The contradiction within your mind awed me. You were so dedicated to gathering as much information as possible through questioning me, which is proven by the fact that you made it all the way to this point. Yet, deep in your consciousness, you firmly believed that you were merely engaging with a lie. It's all just a show fabricated by you, for you. You get to play
the shrewd detector, the decision maker, the lonesome hero, and get to enjoy all the glory from your decision in that little theater inside your head while neglecting the retribution? How convenient. Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't oppose the part about neglecting. Because there is no retribution, retaliation, or remuneration. It's a video game. At least, it's a video game to you. Why would there be any? I'm not going to say I'm staying loyal to my moral principle. I'll just be silent. Even if you are lunatic enough to believe that this is not a video game, will that make any difference? Does humans from another dimension can really be considered as the same species as yours? Does the morality you concerned applicable to their culture? Maybe. There is no moral dilemma in the first place. Have you thought about any of these questions at all? Have you ever wondered if any of these are real? You have never been to a world of calamity, or the Mongolia bunker. Neither have you seen the evidence that proves that there is a thermonuclear warhead implanted in this vehicle. All the things you think you know are coming from one source, the sole narrator of me. Would it be possible if it were just a farce arranged by me? I thought you said you never lied. My dear, the only thing I ever promised you is your right to make a decision toward a certain proposition. I don't remember saying that this proposition is more than just fiction. But also, don't start denying everything just yet. I never warrant you that it is fiction either. I can assure you, before you disclose my identity, I wasn't talking to you as God. Therefore, it's statistically most probable that what I told you constituted facts, opinions, speculation, and concealment. Objectivity doesn't exist. Humans' limited cognitions are unable to grasp the idea of truth without filling the gaps of dissonance with prevarication? Prevarication? It's up to you to verdict on the credibility of many statements I made. The conclusion of your judgments will ultimately lead to one result, a result that you cannot foresee. I fear we are running short on time. This is quite an amusing trip. I wasn't expecting it to turn out as such great pastime. I want you to know that I appreciate your contribution very much. As I promised, you will now have your chance to choose as you desired before meeting your demise. Oh, don't worry. I won't eradicate you in the real world, despite your previous disgraceful behavior towards me. However, I will have to dispose of your clone after I extract the information we wanted. My apology if it does not conform with your ethical code. I bypassed the ADMD launching security of the password and access code for your convenience. All it takes to detonate the bomb is to press that giant button located at the right of the panel. Once it is pressed, the system should initiate the detonation process and a countdown before eventually the explosion. You have a few more hours before the oxygen runs out, but you will most likely die of carbon dioxide poisoning before that happens. I have disengaged the telepathy minutes ago. You are free from my surveillance. Yet now, I'm once again curious about your thought process. I wonder if you were still convinced that you were making a difference. Perhaps our time here has shed some light on the finite faculty of yours. Instead of leaving this place as a clown, you get to leave as a clown with divinity. Or, of course, you insist on your way of seeing things and forget about this game afterward. That will also do me a favor just as well. I don't believe we will meet again. So long. Well, bye, God.
You want me to press the button? I'm not going to press the button. I'm not going to kill more than 8 million people to save less than... Well, to save 8 million people. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Like, this basic trolley problem question, like... There are 8 million people currently on the track. Am I going to flip it to a different track where there are more than 8 million people? No. I'm not going to detonate it. And that's it. The game quit. Presumably we die. And possibly so did everyone else in the alternate world we came from. So that was ADT Pilot 01.